Hey there. Welcome to this deep dive into AI and post-production.
Yes. Well,
We're going to be looking at a presentation from last November.
Right.
It was given by Branko Rostovsky at DigitCrash, their intensive study program. So you're obviously interested in this, in how AI is transforming film and video editing.
That's right.
And we're going to break down all the key points, all the important takeaways.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, it's fascinating, really.
Yeah.
Just how much optimism there is about AI's impact.
Okay.
The presentation mentions like 80%.
80%.
A full 80% of industry professionals believe AI is going to significantly change things.
Change.
Yeah, like editing workflows.
Yeah.
By 2030.
Okay, so like less than 5 years from now?
And what's interesting is they're not just talking about things being faster.
Okay.
But about entirely new ways to approach things.
New ways to
approach storytelling.
Yeah.
And visual effects.
Okay, so it's not just like replacing humans with robots.
Right.
It's changing how we create. Exactly.
But is this all hype?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like, is AI already making a difference? I think it is.
Okay, good.
Definitely not just hype. Think about the most tedious parts of editing.
Go.
Color correction, rotoscoping,
Yeah.
audio leveling.
Yeah.
AI is already doing all of this.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So that means human editors can focus on other things,
Okay.
on the decisions that actually require a human, like creative decisions.
So instead of spending like hours on color, they can focus on pacing and emotional impact and stuff?
Exactly.
Now, the presentation mentions some specific AI tools.
It does.
ChatGPT,
Uh-huh.
Midjourney, Vocal Remover, and DID.
Yes.
Can you break those down?
Right.
Like, what do they actually do?
So each one has its own strength.
Okay.
Like ChatGPT can help with text-based tasks.
Okay.
Like, imagine having AI create the first draft of dialogue, which you could then refine.
Okay.
Or generating scripts.
What?
Or subtitles.
Okay.
And Midjourney is all about visual. Okay.
It can even create visuals from descriptions.
Descriptions.
Yeah, text descriptions. Imagine writing out a scene,
Uh-huh.
and AI generates the images based on that.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
It does, doesn't it?
Okay. What about the other two?
Right.
Vocal Remover and DID.
Vocal Remover does just what it says.
Okay.
It removes vocals from audio,
Okay.
which makes it easier to clean up the dialogue
Uh-huh.
or create sound effects.
Okay.
And DID is really interesting.
Yeah.
It creates videos, like talking head videos.
Talking head videos from...
Still images.
Mhm.
So imagine you take a photo,
Uh-huh.
and then the AI animates it
Hmm.
and makes it talk.
Now, that's both cool
It is.
and kind of creepy.
Yeah.
How realistic is that?
Well, that's where it gets tricky.
Okay.
You have to understand the limits.
Okay.
Like DID can create some really impressive stuff,
Uh-huh.
but it's not perfect. You can usually tell.
So you can still tell it's fake?
Usually.
Yeah.
Like the movements might look a little unnatural,
Okay.
or the voice might not match quite right.
Okay, so there are still signs
Yes.
that something's AI.
Right.
But as this gets better,
Yeah,
those signs might be harder and harder to spot.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's something to watch out for.
Yeah. Okay, the presentation mentions 4 main areas where AI is impacting things.
It does.
Automating those really repetitive tasks.
Right.
VFX,
Uh-huh.
audio processing,
Yeah.
and accessibility.
Yes. Making content more accessible.
Let's start with automation. What tasks is AI taking over?
Well, it mentions pre-editing specifically,
Okay.
color correction,
Uh-huh.
and text-based editing.
So like with pre-editing,
Yes.
AI can analyze footage
Yes.
and create a rough cut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Based on certain criteria, like it can pick out the important shots
Oh, wow.
and cut out the unnecessary ones,
Okay.
which saves a ton of time for editors.
It's like having an assistant editor
Yeah.
who never sleeps.
And who works like crazy fast.
What about color correction? How is AI changing that?
Imagine this. AI analyzes your footage,
Okay.
the lighting,
Mm.
the colors, and it automatically corrects it to make sure the whole project is consistent.
That sounds amazing.
It is. It's so helpful for long projects,
Yeah.
where you really need to have a consistent look.
But couldn't that lead to things looking kind of generic?
That's a good point.
If everyone's just using AI to color correct.
And that's why it's still important to have a human involved.
Okay.
AI can offer suggestions,
Uh-huh.
but the final decision should be made by the human editor, to make sure it matches their vision.
So it's a balance
Yes.
between AI assistance and human creativity.
Exactly.
What about visual effects?
Right.
I always assumed VFX was super manual.
Well, it is.
Like requiring artistic skill.
Yeah, and that part is still essential. Human creativity is still key.
Okay.
But AI can help.
Help with?
With the tedious stuff.
Okay.
Like, imagine extending the frame for a wider aspect ratio.
Uh-huh.
Traditionally, you'd have to, like, recreate the edges of the frame by hand.
Right.
AI can do it automatically.
Oh, wow.
Which saves a ton of time.
So it's not replacing the artist.
Okay.
It's giving them superpowers.
I like that.
What else? What other VFX tasks is AI doing?
Like cleaning things up.
Cleaning?
Cleaning up the footage.
Oh, okay.
Like dust or scratches or even camera straps that accidentally get in the shot.
Yeah.
AI can just remove all of that.
So the footage looks really clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice and professional.
That's pretty impressive. What about rotoscoping?
Right. Rotoscoping.
It's like crazy time consuming, right?
It is. It involves tracing around objects
Uh-huh.
in each frame
Yeah.
to create a mask, to isolate the object.
Okay.
And traditionally, this was done like frame by frame,
Oh.
which takes forever. But now AI can automate it
So it speeds up the process.
massively, which means the artist can focus on more creative tasks.
So the AI is basically doing all the grunt work
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
and leaving the fun stuff for us humans.
That's one way to look at it.
Okay, we've covered automation and VFX.
Right.
Let's move on to audio.
Okay.
Clean audio is just as important as the visuals.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
absolutely.
Bad audio can ruin a video,
It can ruin anything.
even with amazing visuals.
Yes.
The presentation mentions that AI can improve audio quality.
It does?
Like, what can these tools do?
Okay, imagine this. AI can analyze your dialogue
Uh-huh.
and automatically remove stuff.
Stuff.
You know, background noise, like wind
Yeah.
or traffic.
Yeah.
Or even just like the hum of a refrigerator.
Okay.
And that saves you from hours of manually doing it yourself.
Wow, that would be great. I've had to deal with noisy recordings before.
It's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
But AI can just take care of it.
So you end up with crystal clear dialogue.
Exactly.
What else?
Well, there's voiceover work.
Oh, right.
AI can actually generate voiceovers
Yeah.
in different languages,
Wow.
which makes it way easier and cheaper.
To, like, localize your content.
It
So
can-
instead of hiring different actors for each language,
Right,
you could just have AI do it.
right.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
But wouldn't that put voice actors out of work?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
And it's something we'll talk about more later
Okay.
when we discuss the bigger impact
Yeah.
of all this on the industry.
Okay, sounds good. What other cool audio stuff can AI do?
It can also adjust the levels.
The levels.
Yeah, like the audio levels automatically.
Oh, okay.
So everything is consistent across different scenes and different speakers.
Oh, right.
It's especially helpful for projects with lots of dialogue
Right,
where the volume can change a lot.
depending on where the person is.
Exactly. Or how much background noise there is.
So AI is basically like having a dedicated audio engineer
Yeah, that's a good way to put
who
it.
never gets tired.
And who can do all the technical stuff.
Okay, what about content accessibility?
Right.
The presentation mentioned that too.
It did. Accessibility is becoming super important these days.
Yeah.
And AI can help with that.
Help how?
Like, imagine this.
Okay.
AI automatically generates subtitles
Okay.
and closed captions for your videos,
Wow.
which makes your content accessible to a wider audience,
Right.
like people who are deaf or hard of hearing.
Uh-huh.
But it also makes it easier for people who, like, can hear just fine,
Oh, okay.
like if they're in a noisy environment,
Right.
or if they don't want to disturb other people.
That's a good point.
Hmm?
I often watch videos with subtitles, even when I can hear fine.
Me too.
It just helps me focus
Yeah,
and like understand everything better.
exactly. And AI can make that happen automatically.
Now, all of this sounds incredibly promising,
It is exciting.
but I'm also curious about the downsides.
Right.
Because there are downsides to everything.
There are.
The presentation did mention some challenges, right?
It did.
Like, what are some of the challenges?
Well, AI offers amazing potential,
Uh-huh.
but there are challenges. Like one of the biggest is the learning curve
Oh, right.
for these new tools.
That's because even though it's supposed to make things easier,
Yeah,
there's still a lot to learn
yeah.
about how to use it all.
Imagine a seasoned editor
Okay.
who's been using the same software for years,
Uh-huh.
and suddenly they have to learn all this new stuff.
Yeah.
That works in a totally different way.
Like it requires a whole different way of thinking.
Exactly. It's not just about learning new buttons.
Okay.
It's about adapting to a whole new approach.
That sounds like a pretty steep learning curve.
It can be.
Yeah.
But the good news is that these tools are constantly evolving.
Okay.
And getting easier to use.
Good.
And as more people start using them, the learning curve will get less steep.
So it's just a matter of time.
And education.
What other challenges are there?
Well, there's the potential for over-reliance.
Over-reliance on AI.
Yeah. It's tempting to think of AI as a magic solution to all our problems. But it's not. It's a tool.
Okay.
And like any tool, it can be misused.
Right.
We can't just hand over all our decision-making to algorithms.
Okay.
Because then we risk losing that human touch.
That makes our work special.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance
between
using AI's capabilities and maintaining our own control, our own creative control.
So it's about AI as a partner.
Yes.
Not a replacement.
That's one of the key messages.
Actually, the presentation.
Yeah. AI is here to enhance human creativity, not replace it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's not AI versus humans.
Right.
It's AI with humans.
Exactly. And when we work together like that,
the
possibilities are endless.
Well, we've covered a lot in this first part.
We have.
Of our deep dive. We've looked at the optimistic view of AI, broken down some specific tools, and even talked about some of the challenges.
Yes.
What's next?
Next, we're going to dig a little deeper.
Deeper
into the ethical stuff.
Okay.
Surrounding AI in post-production. Particularly the potential for misuse. And the importance of responsible AI. Like, how do we develop AI responsibly?
That sounds fascinating. I'm really interested to hear more about that.
Me too. It's a big topic.
We'll be back after a quick break to continue our deep dive into AI and post-production. Stay tuned.
See you soon.
Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and post-production. Before the break, we were talking about some of the challenges of AI, like the learning curve and the potential for, relying on it too much.
Over-reliance.
Yeah. Now I'm curious about the jobs.
Okay.
Like the jobs of post-production professionals. Could AI make some of these jobs obsolete?
I mean, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people are asking that. And the presentation acknowledges that,
Yeah.
It probably will lead to some changes. In the job market.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that, like, every technological leap has brought changes to how we work.
That's true.
Think about the printing press.
Okay.
The assembly line, the internet.
Sure.
They all disrupted things. They disrupted existing jobs. But they also created new opportunities.
Right. Okay.
And AI is no different.
So instead of jobs disappearing, it's more like jobs transforming.
Exactly. Some tasks might be fully automated.
Okay.
But that frees up humans.
Okay.
To focus on higher level stuff, like more creative work.
So if AI can handle the time-consuming stuff, editors can focus on the storytelling.
Yes.
The pacing, the emotional impact, all of that.
All the important things. So instead of replacing editors, it becomes a tool.
A tool.
A powerful tool that helps them be more efficient.
Okay.
And more creative.
This makes me think about how AI might change, like the creative process itself. We talked about AI as a partner.
Right.
But could it become more like a co-creator?
That is a fascinating question.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, AI is mostly a tool.
Okay.
It responds to our instructions. We tell it what to do. It does it often way better than we could.
Okay.
Like faster and more efficiently. But as AI evolves, it might start to come up with its own ideas.
Really?
Like it might suggest new ways to tell the story.
Wow.
Or unexpected visuals.
That's kind of mind-blowing.
It is. It's like having a brainstorming partner.
Okay.
Who has access to, like, a massive database of knowledge and possibilities.
Imagine an AI suggesting a totally new way to edit a scene.
Yeah.
Like something you'd never think of.
Exactly. And that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
We might start to see this, like, really collaborative relationship. Between humans and machines. Like, imagine a filmmaker working with AI to explore different ideas. Different styles. Even musical scores.
So it's like AI becomes an extension of the artist's mind.
Yeah, I like that.
Helping them be even more creative.
But of course, that brings up some questions.
Like what?
Like, if AI is helping to create, how do we define authorship? Who gets the credit?
That's a good question.
I mean, if AI is coming up with original ideas.
Yeah.
Or creating art that's just as good as human art.
Yeah.
Who owns it? Those are the questions that philosophers and lawyers are trying to figure out.
So it's like AI is making us rethink what it means to be creative.
It is. And that's one of the most exciting things about it.
Yeah.
It's not just about the technology.
Right.
It's about what it means for us as humans.
Okay. So on a more practical level,
right?
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start exploring AI in post-production?
I would say just start exploring. There are tons of resources online, tutorials, courses, forums, even free AI tools to play around with.
Oh, cool.
Don't be afraid to jump in and get your hands dirty.
So it's like learning any new skill.
Exactly. Start with the basics, experiment, make mistakes. That's all part of the process.
And don't be overwhelmed by all the technical stuff.
Yeah, I know it can seem complicated, but there are lots of resources for beginners.
Okay, good.
The key is to stay curious, keep learning, and enjoy the ride.
That's great advice. What about specific tools?
Okay.
Like any recommendations for someone just starting out?
For tech stuff, ChatGPT is great.
Okay.
It's free, and you can do a lot with it.
Like what?
Generating dialogue, scripts, even marketing copy.
Wow.
For images, I'd recommend Midjourney.
Okay.
It does require a subscription, though. But there's also DALL-E 2. The free version is good for exploring.
Okay, cool. What about video and auto editing?
Yeah, there's some great tools for that, too.
Like what?
For video, Runway ML is popular. It has a bunch of AI-powered tools.
Okay.
Like video generation, style transfer, object removal.
Wow.
And for audio, there's Descript.
Descript.
Yeah, it's really cool. It combines traditional editing with AI stuff.
Like what kind of AI stuff?
Transcription, noise reduction, even voice cloning.
Wow, there are so many options.
There are. It's really amazing. It's like AI is making creativity accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It's not just for the big studios anymore.
Right.
Anyone can use these tools now.
Right.
Independent filmmakers, YouTubers, students.
It's like AI is leveling the playing field.
It is. It's pretty amazing.
Well, we've covered a lot in this second part.
We have.
We talked about AI and jobs.
Yeah.
The creative process. And even some specific tools and resources.
That's right.
What's next? What are we diving into next?
Next, we're going to talk about the future.
Okay.
Like the big picture.
Okay.
We'll explore some emerging trends in AI and post-production. And we'll talk about the long-term implications. And, of course, the ethical considerations.
Okay.
You know, the stuff that will shape how AI develops in the future.
That sounds fascinating. I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's a really important conversation.
We'll be right back after a quick break to continue our deep dive into AI and post-production. Don't go anywhere.
See you soon.
Welcome back. We've covered so much.
Well, we have.
From specific AI tools to, like, the impact on jobs. But now I want to talk about the future.
Oh.
Like, where is all of this going? What trends are you seeing?
But that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Predicting the future is hard.
Yeah.
Especially with technology.
Yeah.
Things change so fast.
Yeah, true.
But I think it's safe to say that AI is going to become even more integrated.
Integrated.
Into the whole post-production process.
Okay.
Like, we're talking end-to-end solution.
End-to-end?
Yeah, where AI handle everything. From pre-editing, the final mastering.
Wow. That's a big change. What would that look like in practice?
Imagine this. You feed all your footage into an AI system.
Okay.
Along with the script, some style guidelines, maybe even some scenes from movies you like.
Okay.
The AI analyzes all of that. And it creates a rough cut.
Wow.
Applies color grading.
Yeah.
Adds visual effects.
Yeah.
Even creates a soundtrack.
So basically you give the AI a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And it spits out a finished film.
Well, not quite that simple.
Right.
There would still need to be a human involved.
Okay.
To oversee things.
Yeah.
And provide creative input.
Right.
But the AI could do so much of the work.
Okay.
Which means the filmmaker could focus on the bigger decisions.
Right.
And the artistic nuances.
Okay, so maybe not a fully automated filmmaker.
Not yet.
But definitely a much more powerful assistant.
Exactly.
What other trends are out there?
One really interesting area is emotion AI.
Emotion AI.
Yeah, AI that can understand human emotions.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine an AI that can analyze a scene and figure out the emotional tone.
Okay.
And then suggest changes to enhance that emotion.
Changes.
Like edits, music, even dialogue changes.
That's incredible. So it's like AI becomes a co-storyteller.
In a way, yes.
Helping filmmakers create more impactful experiences.
Exactly. It could even help filmmakers understand their audience better.
How?
Like, imagine AI analyzing how people react to a film.
Okay.
In real time. identifying the moments that resonate.
Wow.
And then providing insights to inform future decisions.
So AI could bridge the gap
Yeah.
between the artist and the audience.
Right. Helping create a deeper connection.
Okay, but that brings us to ethics.
Right.
As AI gets more sophisticated, more involved in the creative process, we need to think about how to use it responsibly.
Absolutely. It's crucial.
Because there's always potential for misuse.
With any powerful technology, yes.
We need to make sure AI is used in a way that benefits everyone.
I agree.
Both the creators and the audience.
And that means addressing some key concerns. Like bias, transparency, accountability.
Can you explain those a bit more?
Sure. Bias is a big one.
Okay.
If the AI is trained on biased data, it's going to create biased content.
Right. So if it's only fed movies with certain types of representation.
Yeah. Or movies that portray certain groups in stereotypical ways.
Okay.
It's going to learn from that.
Yeah.
And repeat those patterns.
Right.
So it's really important to use diverse data sets.
To train the AI.
Yes. We need to actively fight against bias in these systems to make sure they create content that's inclusive.
Okay, that makes sense. What about transparency and accountability? What do those mean?
So transparency means we need to understand how these systems work.
Okay.
How they make decisions. Like, we need to be able to trace the logic behind their choices.
So we can identify any potential problems.
Exactly. Like biases or errors. We can't just blindly accept the AI's output.
Right.
We need to be able to look under the hood.
And accountability.
That's about making sure someone is responsible.
Responsible for
what the AI does.
Yeah.
Like if it creates something harmful.
Yeah.
Or unethical, who's to blame? These are tough questions.
Yeah.
But they're important, especially as AI becomes more autonomous, more involved in making creative decisions.
It sounds like we need a whole new set of rules.
We probably do.
For AI in the creative.
Some ethical guidelines.
Yeah.
And regulations.
Yeah.
And those need to be developed by everyone.
Okay.
Filmmakers, AI experts, ethicists.
Yeah.
Policymakers. It's a conversation we need to have.
Yeah.
Now, before it's too late.
Wow. This has been a fascinating deep dive. We've covered so much.
We have.
From the technical stuff to like the philosophical stuff. So what's the key takeaway? What do you want our listener to remember?
I think the key takeaway is this. AI is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
It has the potential to completely change things post-production and the whole creative process. But it's a tool.
Right.
And we need to use it responsibly, ethically. The future isn't set in stone. It's up to us, the creators, the consumers, to shape that future in a way that benefits everyone.
That's a great message. So it's not about AI taking over.
Right.
It's about using it for good.
Exactly.
And making sure it helps humanity and helps us create amazing art.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into AI and post-production. We hope you learned something, maybe even feel inspired. Until next time, stay curious.
Thanks for having me.